So why do we want to engage our other states? It's not just to explore. Exploration is fun, but healing of our deeper blockages, of those things we need to release, one of the keys to it at least is trance work. There are other ways you can do it: yoga, somatic work, massage, Reiki. There are many techniques out there, and we would not say that this is the only way to do these things. That would be disingenuous. But we can very easily bring ourselves into these different trance states by understanding the mind, understanding how the frequencies of energy in the mind affect our different states of consciousness, and by exploring these states of consciousness in very direct, easy, mindful ways. So let's talk a little bit about the different energy patterns that we see in the mind. Most likely you're familiar with these in some level of doing any kind of spiritual work or any kind of entrainment work. And these are very popular concepts, but let's go through them and get a better understanding of how they kind of work together and how they apply to Akashic Trancework. So we can measure our level of awareness, our state of consciousness to some extent on a machine, on an EEG. And these different frequencies of energy, essentially how frequent or how infrequent these waves move, these oscillations of energy move through our brains, that determines our state of consciousness. So that tight, busy frequency, that 14 to 30 hertz scale, that's where we're fully awake. We're in that beta state. And it's a good place to be. I'm in a pretty beta state right now. I can look around, I can engage with my awareness, I can engage with you, I can engage with anyone who comes in the room. I know what's going on around me. I can communicate. I'm not really thinking too much more beyond what I'm going to say next. It's a beta state, and beta states are what we need. It is that active ego state, the place where you can take care of your life. Some people don't have enough beta activity, and those are people that are very ungrounded. They can't meet their responsibilities, they can't be on time for things, they never feel energized. So people like that really do need to bring in more beta activity, and there's some great practices that we can recommend. You can play beta wave biofeedback through binaural beats, or we have crystal bowl healing that we do. We also have just general meditations, guided trance work sessions that can bring us into a beta state. But mostly we focus on trying to get ourselves out of those beta states and move within, because that's where our trance work happens. There's no beta trance state. It's a fully active, engaged place. So as we want to move within, we want to move into that alpha state first. Alpha states are very powerful states of inner introspection, very relaxed, very contemplative. If you use any kind of teacher plants or entheogens, hallucinogens, things like that, it's taking you into a very powerful alpha state. Those alpha states are things that many of us go to automatically. Anytime that we're kind of daydreaming, that we might be kind of spacing out, getting a little distracted by what's going on inside of us, we're going into an alpha state. And the more we look within, the more powerful that alpha state is. Most of us can go into an alpha state very quickly, very easily. And the trick is knowing that you're going there so that you can do some very specific work. So in Akashic Trance work, we've developed a lot of specific visualization techniques, guided techniques that allow us to do some very powerful and profound work. So we'll talk a little bit more about the alpha states here in a second, but I want to go through the rest of these brainwave patterns. The delta state is where we're fully asleep. The delta state is an important place because we do a lot of really healing work. All of our deepest physical, spiritual rejuvenation happens in those states of deep rest. If you can't go into a delta state easily, you probably will have a lot of anxiety, a lot of distress. You never feel rested. You always feel tired because you don't go down to those delta states enough. Conversely, if you go there too much, you might feel kind of groggy all the time, and you might slip off into those deep states very easily. So there's a balance to be had between too much delta and too much beta. So somewhere in that alpha place is where we find that balance between rest and activity. So the delta state is very important, but we don't necessarily work to induce the delta state, although it can be done fairly easily because it's not a place of interactivity with the subconscious. The sweet spot of trance work is the theta state. And you've probably heard this term before. It's bandied around. There's a lot of modalities that use this very heavily. There's even a theta healing modality, which is highly effective for a lot of people. But in Akashic Trance work, we work to induce theta states in ourselves and others, in some cases, very simply and very directly, because we want to be able to remember what happens in our theta states. We want to be able to bring that back to our awareness. And we'll talk about that here a bit more in a moment. And finally, I want to touch on the gamma state. And gamma states are like magic, basically. That's the best thing I can use, the best term I can use to describe what a gamma state feels like. It's that state of perfect awareness, the enlightenment state. We like to call that the state of heart-centered awareness, heartfulness, living from the heart, seeing from the heart, from that place of divine, unconditional love and compassion. And even just saying those words makes me feel really relaxed and good, because that's that state of divine connection. And we're not going to be there all the time. We're going to have bad days and times when we just need to rest, or times when we're agitated, and that's fine. But if we begin to cultivate these gamma states, we can really have that relaxed, loving, connected experience more and more often. And the more we can do that, the more we can connect with our heart centers, the more we can safely and gently and enthusiastically explore reality, explore consciousness and the many different layers of reality that are accessible to us. So, brainwave patterns. Let's talk a little bit about the alpha trance state. The alpha trance state, again, is that relaxed, meditative, daydreamy state. You might be focusing on this or that, but ultimately you're focused on your inner world, your astral space. In Akashic Trance work, when we talk about our astral space, we're talking about everything inside of us, our fourth dimensional reality, we sometimes call that. All of our inner experiences, our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, our memories, our imagination, our creativity, all those things are fourth dimensional astral experiences. They're not physical experiences, meaning that you can't necessarily predict what's going to happen in your astral space on physical laws. If you have a ball, a physical ball, and you drop it, it's always going to fall at the same rate every time. It's going to bounce the same way every time, because it's governed by the laws of physics. In astral space, there are laws too. There are principles, but they're different. And they can be hard to define because we don't have an understanding of these things in our society, in our culture, really, that's easy to access. So a lot of what we do in Akashic Trance work is to try to understand, what are these principles? What are these guiding and governing laws? And that's much of the work that we do in our own trance states and in other people's trance states when we're guiding them, is to try to reach a deeper understanding of where these boundaries are, where are these guidelines. Boundaries are very important. We'll talk about that here in a moment. But the alpha trance state is what allows us to get into that astral place. It's that door to the third eye, so to speak. It brings you within. It brings you to your inner space. Now, how you feel once you get there, that's a different story. It's going to be very different for everyone, but that is that first stage. You probably go there all the time anyway. Most of the people that are drawn to this work tend to kind of live in this alpha state, honestly, unless they're pulled down to the beta states. So a lot of our work has as much to do with grounding ourselves in to a place of presence, more than trying to get to this alpha place. But we want to be able to get ourselves there and get ourselves out. So it's important to understand the techniques that will bring us there from any state of awareness that we're in. So how do we get to an alpha state? Well, there's a couple of different methods that we use. The primary method is the breath. Most people, if they've done any kind of spiritual work, any kind of martial arts, any kind of meditation, yoga, et cetera, they know this. This kind of practice is very common. And we've come to observe that in order to breathe ourselves down into an alpha state, we want to just take about a 5-second inhale and a 5-second exhale. It's a little bit shallower than your most natural breath. It'll vary a little bit depending on your lung capacity and your comfort. It may be 4 to 7 seconds, but for most people, it's about 5 seconds. So I invite you now to give it a try if you're in a place where you can do this. And if not, try it later. But let's do this for about, 15 seconds and just see how it feels to breathe in and out at that measured pace and see what that does. So let's take a second to get comfortable. Let's take a natural breath in, natural breath out. And breathe in for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So hopefully that should help you relax a little bit. And if nothing else, just being mindful, counting your breath will relax you. You may be familiar with this idea. It's not a new concept, but we like to see and experiment with how these different breath patterns affect our consciousness, how they affect our awareness, how they help us shift. So as you breathe just a little bit deeper, you begin to notice how more introspective you become, how much more aware of your inner world you become. So try it when you can if you like. But we know that breath isn't great for every circumstance or every person. Sometimes you don't want to count your breath. Some people don't like doing that at all. So there's many other ways we can induce these alpha states. And one of our favorite methods that we've worked with is the idea of toning. And if you're not familiar with toning, the idea of toning into part of your body can be a little confusing. If you've done any kind of mantras or chants or chanting or toning into the chakras, and you'll be familiar with this. But ultimately, when we talk about toning into the head, neck, throat area, or toning into any part of our body, we're just talking about using our voice, our ability to make sounds, which we can do. I can control the tone of my voice. I can speak low. I can speak high. I have different ways I can speak, right? And when I do that, it's actually going to different parts of my body, right? The actual part of my lung structure, my vocal cords, where I vibrated determines the pitch of my voice. You don't have to think about it too much because you can do it. You can just say, no, I'm speaking through my nose, and no, I'm speaking into my stomach. It's very easy to do. Anybody can do it. We do it all the time. But being conscious of it and just making a little bit of sound and feeling the vibration. That's all toning is. It's not singing. It's not humming. Although it's actually more like humming than anything else, but we're just trying to feel the vibration, trying to feel the sound. It doesn't have to be loud. It doesn't sound good. You're not performing for anyone. Although it can be fun to do it around other people or have them do it with you to feel that kind of sound wave moving about the room. That's a lot of fun. So I recommend if you are into this practice or if you start doing this practice, bring it into your life. But the toning practice for getting into an alpha state, we want to vibrate into our third eye, into our eyes, into our nose, into our face. And this part of us that's about articulation and communication, right? We want to send that vibration there, and that activates us. If you can master this, you can get yourself to an extremely heightened state of awareness. And it's a lot of fun. It feels really good. Anyone can do it. If you can make a sound with your mouth, you can do this. So let's give it a try. Hopefully you're in a place for this. If not, you can maybe try it later. So sit back and relax a little bit. Some nice, easy breaths. Take a deep breath in. And just vibrating into your nose. Really, that's all you're doing. Vibrating your face, vibrating your third eye, activating. You're activating your third eye awareness. You're activating your alpha states. It's very easy. If you just do it a few times, you'll find yourself becoming very relaxed and very calm. It feels really good. It's really good for us. If you think about the frequency, the vibration that you see on an EEG, those patterns that we looked at and what we're doing right now, we're actually vibrating ourselves into an alpha state. It's really fun. It's really profound. And you can do it anywhere, at any time. And similarly, we can induce theta states. Inducing theta states is a little bit trickier because we want to be able to go into a theta state and come back out of it. That's the essence of actually accessing the Akashic record. You can access the Akashic record through alpha states, and we do this often. But if you can go into a theta state, that's when you can really experience the Akashic record. You can experience past lives and connect with ancestors, connect with your spirit guides, go through the shamanic journey type experience, connect with your animal guides. That's the real powerful place, like when you're in your dreams. And you can essentially induce that. You can induce what is, in effect, a lucid dream, a virtual experience in your mind through a deep journey. So we want to be able to induce these states. And in our practice, I take students and clients into theta spaces all the time, just using a vocal induction process. But we also teach processes where you can take yourself there. And if you can do that, you can have these experiences on your own, then you can reach such a deep level of profound understanding of yourself and the universe that really is beyond words. And that's where you start to explore your own awareness. We don't want to teach you how to experience our modality. We want to teach you how to experience yourself. And that's what I think sets us apart. We want to make sure that you get to a place where you can find your own paradigm, your own structure, your own place that really fits with you, to apply the things that you've learned, to apply the teachings that you've brought forward from all of your past lives, from all of your ancestral experience, just integrating everything. And this is the place where we can do this. This is the theta trance, the dream state, the spirit world. And this is where the true astral experiences happen, where we can truly astrally project our awareness, astrally travel. So if you think about alpha states as kind of being sitting in your light body, sitting in your astral space, in the theta state, you're moving off to other dimensions of awareness. You're traveling. And in a deep theta state, you really will be out of your body, because if somebody comes along and picks up your arm and drops it, you might not even feel it, depending on how deep you are. And as you can imagine, in that place, it's important that you have trust. You have to have trust of yourself, trust of who's sitting with you, or trust that you're in a place, if you're alone, that you will be safe. And your body has to believe in that safety. So most of our experiences, most of our really powerful experiences come along with a deep relaxation component. You have to be able to relax enough to get into a theta state. A lot of people say, I can't go into a theta state. I can't be hypnotized. I don't remember my dreams. And there's people that can't relax. And that's the fundamental barrier, the fundamental blockage between this beta state, this active state, and everything below it. We might sit in kind of this light, unpleasant, ruminative alpha state, but we never go beneath the surface because we can't relax. So these breathing techniques, these toning techniques we developed, are intended to help us physically relax our bodies, our lower selves. Our lower selves are very important. Look at this picture. She's got her wolf guide with her. I think it's perfect. Astara chooses these pictures out. She always finds the exact perfect picture. Her wolf is there with her, standing guard. We have to be safe. We have to feel safe. And these relaxation techniques remind us that we are safe. We are present. We are there. Our bodies are there. We are safe. We're protected. We have to believe that. Our bodies have to believe it. Do you believe that you're safe all the time? It's hard. It's not easy for most people. A lot of us have been conditioned with anxiety, and we know on some level that we are not always safe. In reality, right? We know that there always is some element of risk. But if we can relax ourselves enough, if we can move beyond this animalistic level of anxiety that many of us have, these fears, and many of these fears are very rational, but do they help us? Is it helpful to be afraid of things we can't control? Is it helpful to allow our fear to guide us? It's an important question. How much do we want to be ruled by fear? This seems simple. We're breathing down, we're toning down, but we have to be able to relax our bodies. We want to have that true, deep, healing spiritual experience. If we want to really connect with ourselves, we want to really integrate our experiences, we want to really clear all the things that have happened to us in all of our lives and all of our experiences and all of our traumas. It requires the willingness to relax and let go and trust. So, trust in the breath, trust in the sound of the voice, and you'll be able to get down there to that theta place and do that deep healing work, do that powerful shamanic spiritual work that you want to do. And I know that you want to do it because people that come to us are the ones that want to make that journey. So let's try. Let's try and see if we can go there. I encourage you to use your breath. Let's try with the breath, and we'll try it just for about 15 seconds. It's not hard to go there. You just have to make that choice. You have to choose this. So let's give it a try. The theta breath for most people is about 7 seconds on the inhale and 7 seconds on the exhale. It might be a bit more. You don't want to go too deep. We don't want to fall asleep. We want to be able to go into this Akashic experience, get some information, and bring it back out. We want to read our Akashic record. We want to understand ourselves at a deep level. If we go to sleep, we may remember, we may not. If we go to that delta place, we probably are not going to remember. We want to kind of hover just above it and as deeply relaxed as we possibly can be without being asleep. It's that simple. Whatever you have to do to get as deeply relaxed as possible without falling asleep, without feeling the pressure of not falling asleep. Let's try this. Let's try to see how deeply we can relax without completely falling asleep, just for about 20 seconds. Let's give it a try. So relax, sit back. You might want to lay back for this. Just going to do 2 cycles. 7 seconds in, 7 seconds out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's very relaxing. It's very calming. And that's what we need. That's what our lower selves, our bodies need to feel relaxed. Breath is a very simple tool of relaxation. And oftentimes we forget about it because it is so simple, but it is our lifeline. We are breathing in the energy of the universe, and the rate at which we bring it in determines how relaxed we are, how calm we are. But breath is not the only tool to get us into those theta places. As we mentioned, toning is very powerful. And again, another note on toning, if you think about the most primal relaxation tool that a mother has is the breath and the tone, how she breathes, how she hums, how she soothes her child. It's very, very relaxing to feel, for a baby to feel that vibration of the mother humming. We've all experienced this, hopefully, either as parent or child at some point in our life. It's one of the most primal, soothing experiences that we can have. So let's try it. Let's hum, let's tone a little bit into that space between the solar plexus and the heart. So let's just sit back a little bit and hopefully you're in a place for this, but try it sometime. If not, it's very relaxing. So deep breath in. Let's try it one more time. It's very relaxing. If I do it too much, I will pretty much go into a theta state and I'll stop responding. So I don't want to do that. But try toning as much as you feel comfortable with. I really suggest it. It's a lot of fun. It's very relaxing. That theta tone is probably one of my favorite things to do because it takes me down into a relaxed state very quickly. And beyond just getting into different states of consciousness, if you deal with any kind of anxiety or depression, even, or any sort of challenges, these are very healing processes. The voice is very healing. We do a lot with the tone of the voice and with different crystal bowl frequencies and binaural beats and Akashic Trancework because we understand the power of the tones, understand the power of the voice. And I actually use my voice to assist other people in these states and guiding them and allowing them space to really express what's going on in those places. And that's one of the cornerstones of Akashic Trancework is using the voice for that. So those are our trance states. It's how we induce trance states. So it can take some work to get ourselves down into those states for some people. But if we can apply those practices, if we can apply the breath work, if we can apply the toning, we can really relax ourselves very easily. If we can really choose to relax enough to make those methods effective. So, what do we do when we get there? What do we do when we are suddenly alone with our thoughts, with ourselves, with our energy, with our beliefs, with our insecurities? What do we do with those things? What do we do with all those things that come up when we start to look within? Well, first of all, we have to create boundaries. What are we thinking about all the time? What are we feeling all the time? What people are we thinking about all the time? We talk a lot about boundaries from a sort of interpersonal, socio-political context. We have houses, we have rules about who can come into our physical space, who can touch us, who can talk to us. Maybe there's some people we don't spend any time with. Maybe there's some people we limit our time with. Maybe there's people that are always in our space. Some people spend too much time alone. Some people spend almost no time alone. But what are you thinking about? What are you doing? Even when you're alone, what's going on in your mind? Where are you directing your energy? Who are you directing your energy to? Maybe it's a responsibility that you have. Maybe it's your children, maybe it's your partner. That's great. We have people that we love in our lives, and that's amazing. We want to make sure we invest in those relationships. Those relationships are very important. It's really what life is about. But many people, even when they are alone, they may not be spending really true quality time with themselves. So the fundamental practice of creating astral boundaries comes down to creating a space for ourselves, a home within ourselves. In your physical life, hopefully you have a shelter. And that shelter is a place where you can go to recharge and rejuvenate. Maybe it's a bedroom if you live with other people. Hopefully you have that space. But even if you don't, you can have that space within. You can create an intentional astral space. The power of creating intentional astral spaces is just so profound because that is the key to manifestation, to creating your life the way that you want it to be, creating intentional astral spaces. And how do you do it? You use your imaginative creative abilities. The imagination is not just the imagination is the interface to the subconscious mind. Your imaginative creative powers allow you to build intentional astral spaces. And once you do this, when you engage the subconscious mind with these intentional astral spaces, which are made of symbolism, when you build this space inside of your subconscious mind responds because it speaks that symbolic language. It's an interface to the subconscious. So, one of the primary practices that we do in Akashic Trancework is creating first this intentional astral space. And you can have as many as you want to, but you want to have at least one. You want to have a safe space, a safe inner space. And not everyone wants to create something like this, but a lot of people love the beach. When I take students and clients and friends through this process, I would say at least half of them say, I'm on a beach. I can feel the wind. I can smell the air. It smells like salt. I can hear the seagulls in the background. I can feel the waves lapping. Maybe I'm floating in the water. Maybe there's some dolphins there. Some people that I love are there. It's a very positive place for people. It has positive associations. Consciousness works through associations. One of the exercises that I do with people when I do consults is what I call a chain of associations. I help them to understand what they think around a given concept. And that's one of the foundations of building a safe space. What are your thoughts and feelings around a given thing? Is there something you can bring in that gives you those positive feelings, that allows you to remember those positive feelings, those positive experiences? When you do that, when you open yourself up to the possibility of those positive, loving, fulfilling, compassionate experiences, because you've already had them, you've had those experiences, your body remembers those experiences. So you're replaying your cellular memory, your inner memory of those experiences through this process of association. So this safe space can be anything. It doesn't have to be an actual physical space like this. It could be a completely abstract space. Some people just want to be floating in space or in the water. Some people have a totally abstract realm of geometric images. It doesn't even have to be visual. Not everyone is a visual person. They don't necessarily want to have to visualize something, but it's about the emotions. Is there a place you can go within yourself where you feel good? And maybe this isn't a problem for you, but if you can create this space, you're creating what is called an astral temple or an astral crystal. And it's your base, it's your foundation for deeply exploring the Akashic experience, to going to other realms, to going to other dimensions, because it's a place to come back to. It's like your launching pad for your Merkaba, for your light ship. If you understand what I mean by that, it's a place of return, it's a place you come back to. And maybe it just looks like your room that you're in now, wherever you feel safe. But it's a place where we want to cultivate energy, right? We want to feed it because ultimately, what we've come to realize over time, as we developed this particular practice, and other modalities do this sort of safe space inner temple exercise. So it's not new for a lot of people, but we've come to understand that that awareness is actually our heart-centered awareness. It's our place of joy, our place of compassion, our place where we can remember ourselves, where we can connect with ourselves, where we can just find love and find joy, even if we are not in the best external circumstances. It's that shelter within. And part of it is bringing in the things that give us joy. What brings you joy? What brings you happiness? Hopefully there's something. If there's not anything, then there's some things to work on. But most of us have at least something that brings us joy. Even if the memories are a little bit bittersweet, sometimes they are. But there are things in our lives that do bring us joy. Maybe they're very simple things. They don't have to be anything we ever share with anyone else. It doesn't have to be something appropriate or something that other people would see as joyful. It doesn't matter. It could even be something as silly as, like, some memes that you like or a movie that you watched a long time ago. It doesn't matter. It's the emotion that it brings to you. It's the feeling that it brings to you. And that's what matters. We want to just be happy. We want to smile and laugh, right? What is life about if you can't find some joy? No matter what's happening, you can find some joy. And as you begin to cultivate your experience, you find that no matter what's happening, you can find joy in the moment because there are things you can't control, but you can always control how much of this energy you tap into, how much of this heart centered awareness you tap into. Be mindful of time. I do get so excited about these things and they go on and on and on. So, what do we do when we're in that space? Well, we have to actually cultivate our energy there. If you think of it like a garden, like a place that you cultivate within yourself, there are many challenges in life, right? There are many things that sort of challenge this sense of safety, this sense of joy. So, we want to spend time, we want to cultivate our own energy. We want to cultivate our garden of joy. If you think about how you would plant a garden, it doesn't just grow most of the time. If you just look at it and say, that's my garden now, you have to spend time there. You have to plant seeds. You have to water it. You have to make sure it gets light. You have to do all of these things. You have to keep pests out. You have to protect your investment. You have to cultivate your energy. Because in this world, there's a lot of things that want to take our energy. And that's what a lot of these boundaries are about, conserving some energy for ourselves. Everyone wants a little piece of you, right? Your job, your partner, your kids, all of these beings want some part of you, and you willingly give of yourself because you're loving, because you're a giving person. And maybe you do spend most of your time alone. I'm not going to assume. But regardless, we can spend time on ourselves. It's okay. Even if we spend all of our time on ourselves, that's okay too. It's okay to invest in ourselves because even if we have 24/7 to do this, at some point in our life, There will be someone out there that's going to call to us, that's going to ask us to help them. And to be of service, to truly be of service, we have to invest in ourselves, regardless of what's going on. Even if we only have 30 seconds a day, even if we only have the moments between all of our other obligations, we can still spend a little bit of time doing this. And the beauty of these exercises is that you can do these things anywhere. You don't have to be sitting in a meditation position, you have to be laying down. You can really do this at any point. And I love this picture here. This woman is so content with herself. She's so happy spending time with herself, just spending quality time with herself. We always spend all of our time with ourselves, obviously, but are we spending quality time? Are we reflecting? She's quite literally reflecting. The reflective experience is what leads us towards greater understanding, towards greater expansion. So, got a little bit of time left, and I'd like to just take you on a quick sort of 5-minute relaxation and visualization exercise. If you're open to it, if you have time. If not, you'll receive, as I mentioned in the beginning, a recorded version of this, so don't worry about it too much. But if you would like to, I recommend sitting back or laying back. You want to have good head and neck support. We recommend headphones. So we'll start in about 30 seconds. If you need to get ready, if you want to get comfortable, just take some relaxed breaths. Just sit back and relax. Nothing you need to do, nowhere you need to go. Just setting aside a few minutes for yourself now. Just allowing yourself to fully and deeply relax. As you breathe, you count in for 5 seconds and out for 5 seconds with each inhale and exhale. Breathe in now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Continue to breathe and relax. Just observing the thoughts and feelings passing through your mind. All thoughts are okay. All feelings are okay. It's all just experience. Just happening. Just observe your thoughts and feelings passing through your mind as you relax even deeper. You'll now count to 7 on the inhale and 7 on the exhale. In 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Breathe and relax. And just begin to imagine a safe, warm, happy place. place of peace, happiness, relaxation. Could be a realistic place or a purely abstract place. Just spend time there. Be there. What do you do there? What are the texture, the sound, the color, the smell? Are there any people or animals there with you? Or are you alone? Bring in anything or anyone you would like to connect with. If any beings come, these are your guides. Welcome them, connect with them. This is a place of pure peace, connecting with your heart center, your heart center awareness now to your higher self awareness, to your lower self awareness, perfectly balanced, perfectly relaxed, awake, alert, but at peace, fully engaged in this inner space, this astral space. Just relax. You may find thoughts and feelings arise that don't belong here. Energy trying to come in, pushing at the boundary of your safe space. Maybe they push right through. They don't belong here, not in this space. It's time to choose. Do you want these energies here? Clearly, they want your attention. But do they belong here in your deepest personal space? Maybe they're responsibilities you have. Maybe they're energies that are intrusive, that come up all the time. Maybe it's a person or a memory. Maybe it's even someone you love very much, but who you need just a moment of space from. A child or a partner or a friend or a parent. Maybe it's your job, your career. Maybe you feel guilt for taking some time away for yourself. Choose now. How much energy and time do you want to give to these thoughts and feelings, memory, people? How much time each day when you allow these beings, these energy, these thoughts into your astral boundary? How much of your energy will you give them? And how much of that time will you spend cultivating yourself? A minute a day, an hour a day. Choose now. How much time will you spend pouring energy into yourself? understanding yourself, reflecting. All you need to do is come here to do this. And you can spend time on those other things when necessary. But choose how much time. Maybe you have a child. Maybe you have a job. Maybe you have another responsibility. These things do require your energy and your attention, but not all of it. Take a moment to set those boundaries. How much time will you give yourself each day? How much time will you give to those things that are asking for your attention? And if you would like to come back and join us, you can gently begin to imagine yourself lifting back up to your physical space, becoming aware of your physical body, but remembering that connection to your safe space, remembering that connection to your higher self, so you can go back there anytime you need, or create a new space if you need to. I invite you to open your eyes if they're closed and stretch a little bit, moving your fingers and toes. So thank you for joining us, if you're still with us. We appreciate you for taking the time to experience this today. We invite you to engage with us further if you like. I think you've been following us on Facebook for a while, but we have a lot of different projects that we're doing right now. We have an initiation e-course, a self-paced version of that has just been released, and we would invite you to check that out. It might be interesting for you if you find this sort of process and this practice beneficial. Then we invite you to that. It's akashictrance.com/initiation. You can see the details right there. You may be interested in just doing a consult and talking to me further one-on-one. I can help you through some of these processes and practices if you're interested in that. We also have a book that's going to be coming out soon, which I'm not supposed to tell you about just yet, but I'm really excited, so I'm just going to mention that real quickly. So thank you. Thank you very much for exploring this time with us. Thank you, Holly. We appreciate you. Thank you very much. Reach out anytime if you want to talk. You know how to get a hold of us. We're always online. Have a wonderful day.